You think Jay-Z or
probably not a good time right now.
You're silly, man. You're silly. You're wrong.
Why do we like to see it? Why have we grown an appetite for seeing those who look like us fall back into situations similar to the ones that we find ourselves in? History is always told by the victor. History is always told by he who remains after the war is over. Not necessarily told accurately, but told from the perspective of one of the individual parties inside of a particular event. I like to go back and study the factual accounts of what took place during slavery, during the period of the establishment of religions, during the establishment of the United States. And it's funny because I got really interested in that when the governor in the state that I live in made it a law that it wouldn't be taught in school.
New piece of legislation
when they
for the
started
upcoming
taking books
legislative
out of
session
libraries
called Stop Wrongs Against
knew
Our Kids and
that there was
Employees Act,
something
the
that I
Stop
wanted
Woke
to
Act.
know. There's a narrative that I bought into as a kid about melanated beings, melanated kings and queens, and their existence on this plane, the path that they have had to journey, and how it would be beautiful and full of bliss and abundance if it was only not for the government or not for the European or not for the Western culture. And I have studied enough historical facts, enough historical accounts to challenge that. Not because I want to challenge melanated kings and queens. I want us to be better. As kids, we were taught good character and poor character and the difference between the two. Oftentimes by people who modeled more poor character than the good character that they taught. So we actually adopted and imitated the ways that were modeled in front of us instead of following the good counsel and instruction that was being given to us. I will say, in our defense, there were way more poor models than there were models of divine excellence. When I cut my television on, when my mama gave me a video game, a lot of these elements of my entertainment were strategically designed to keep me blind. How was my mama supposed to know that? I would be a fool to blame my mama. It was my ignorance that allowed for me to participate in something that was detrimental to my way of thinking, that would affect my way of living. That's you scrolling. That's you deciding what you're gonna watch. That's you picking what political party you wanna follow, what entertainer, what public figure you wanna attach yourself to, and digest every word that they speak. Somebody dribble a basketball well, and you're listening to them on how they're governing their life and how they're treating their family. Unless you dribble basketballs, you probably have no reason to follow them other than their ambitious efforts and pursuit of their goals. Like, don't follow everything that they do. Don't start. Nobody has ever had to keep melanated beings from rising back to their position of prominence other than the melanated beings who say that they are willing to do whatever it takes to see it happen. Every revolution that was ever established was destroyed from the inside. And you can blame the government entities and the CIA or whoever it is that you would like to blame for infiltrating the entity. Or you can identify the toxic social traits that allow for distrust, manipulation, deception, leading to assassination, to become a part of what it was that we were doing. And the crazy thing is, it hasn't gone anywhere. We're not discussing a problem of the old. We're talking about something that still lives right now, today. Millionaires, melanated millionaires, are in competition with each other rather than putting their resources together to fight for the wellness of those who are still ignorant and broke. See, the crazy thing about the melanated beings that have made it to our television screen is most of them are not broke, but most of them are still terribly ignorant, terribly asleep, terribly small-minded, terribly petty, terribly unraised. Like I say, somebody had them in a gym dribbling basketballs. They wasn't being sat down and told about the inconsistencies of their ways and being held accountable for their social interactions amongst their peers and their siblings. No, they was doing reps. And just like it takes reps to get better on the court, it takes reps off the court interacting with other beings to get better at that as well. Ain't no way in hell someone who looks just like me should be sitting on a platform with people who don't look like me, talking about allegations about me. Because one, the only point worth making is you know what an allegation can do for somebody that look like me. Because you look like me and you scared of allegations, just like I've had to prepare myself for the moment that somebody opened their mouth and said something stupid about me. Understand there are people who prosper who don't even have to worry about this type of stuff. Somebody bring me up in the context of a conversation that I belong in because I'm the best person behind the microphone producing music for decades. And the best thing that you got while sitting on your basketball platform is to make a subtle, discreet joke about an allegation that could possibly cause my empire to crumble, whether it's true or not. You're flawed. That was real bald head, light skin energy. And everybody that participated up there, all the way up to Kenny Smith changing his metaphor, changing his analogy, and not using Jay-Z, and using Kendrick Lamar instead. All of it was garbage. Garbage juice. You have people on set who are not a part of the culture, kikiing and crackling and making an allegation about someone within the culture bigger. And you don't even know if it's true or not. You don't even care. You don't care about my well-being. You don't care about nothing but your ratings. You don't care about nothing but your little paycheck. Like I said, that's why Charles Barkley ain't got no ring now. Facts. But it's not just Charles Barkley, and it's not just rich, famous people. All over this nation, there is a sickness on the inside of melanated kings and queens who have been trained in scarcity, fear, competition, comparison, and every other possible thing that robs you of joy. You scared for them people to win because you were told that there's only so much resources, that there's only so much room at the top. They lied. They lied. You can celebrate when somebody who looks like you wins. This actually opens doors for you. It doesn't shut you out for good. You do not have to celebrate when someone who looks like you takes a fall because of their behavior or because of a judgment of the general population. Because them winning while you're losing is not anything but motivation, or shouldn't be anything but motivation for you to get your stuff together. Why do we like to see it? Why have we grown an appetite for seeing those who look like us fall back into situations similar to the ones that we find ourselves in? Let's not pretend that there's any other reason than we were in competition with them the whole time. And they had millions, and we had problems. So when they lost their millions, we celebrate it on the inside, even if we pretended to be sad for them on the outside. It's losing energy. Only a loser wants other people to lose so that they can feel like them. Charles Barkley been being picked on the internet since AOL days, dial-up. So of course, when the internet takes aim at somebody who they've always glorified, of course Charles Barkley like that. Of course, everybody up there on that platform who is out of their prime, no longer producing inside of their craft, enjoys when Jay-Z, Mr. Longevity, seems to be headed for their same situation. Come on, man. I'm just saying though, like within the black community, there's so much conversation about being real and not being flawed, being 100, being 1,000. Like there's so many conversations about being authentic, being a stand-up guy. Like we can do this all day. And there's so much that goes into pretending to be everything that we talk about. And at this point, I am absolutely convinced that it is much easier to just be authentic. Like pretending to be is destroying your peace. And it's got you anxious to see other people fail, anxious to see other people fall. Being a hater and totally denying it when somebody call you one. That's lame, that's norm energy. If you're gonna be out here, the least you could do is be a misfit.
Stop it. You said the man was not even on your level. That's an insult. Stephen A. played college basketball.
So did a lot of people in the world, but he's not in my, no, they're not on.
In fact, you said you were a heavyweight and he was light.
It's like
You said you were heavyweight and he was a flyweight.
Yeah, he's a flyweight. I'm not you got to work your way up to the champ.
You from New York. That man challenged you on live TV.
Listen, man.
That man said he'll give you a chance.
You think Jay-Z or
probably not a good time right now.
You're silly, man. You're silly. You're wrong. You're silly, man. You're silly, man.
Go see if you can fix the wall, will you,
Fix the
Shaq?
wall, man.
Yeah. Here, back here.
Fix the
I'll
wall,
go
man.
see if I can fix the wall.
My point was,
Too soon, Kenny.
my point was, you think Kendrick Lamar, how about that?
There you go.
You think Kendrick Lamar is going battle rapping with people on the street? I can't do that. I can't do that.